It is 7 o'clock, and I would like to call the December, I don't even know, December 2nd. You can tell I'm retired. Planning Commission meeting to order. We are going to have an open public hearing first. Kathy, you want to speak first?
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Catherine Trapp, and as you know, I'm the clerk for the Village of Romeo, and I oversee the marijuana business license application process. I want to address the board with and some recent public concerns and the sophistry that is social media. I was made aware of a social media post expressing concerns about this public hearing. I need to make a few things clear. An application has the option to choose what type of license they are applying for out of 8 options. The type of licenses these candidates are applying for have not been made public by the village offices. That is private information during the application review process. There is a non-negotiable 16-plus step application process each applicant must adhere to. Tonight's meeting is only addressing one of the 16 steps, a special land use. The special land use requirement does not determine a business license being awarded. The Planning Commission can only make determinations on the zoning ordinance aspect of the application. The other remaining 15-plus steps still go through a rigorous review process as described under the Code of Ordinances. I'm always happy to answer any questions about the application process. Thank you.
Okay. We are going to start with the special land use request. The first one will be 15055 32 Mile Road, 27-01-36-225-018. And I believe.
I ask, what agenda are you following?
This is for the public hearing.
Oh, this is for the public, this isn't the agenda? Where are we going this?
We're going to do the public hearing.
Oh, the public hearing, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You gotta hold the public hearing first.
So you could
Okay.
ask if anyone has anything to say about it.
All right. Do we have anyone that would like to address the commission?
Mr. Grandstaff, looks like there's some confusion out there. You just called off the 32 Mile Road Sidwell numbers for the 27-0136. Are all 3 of these on the public hearing? Okay. So my question, these were added to the recent applicants that were already in. Is that why they're here? Okay, so that's what totals them all out as 9. All right, thank you.
All right.
That's my own question.
Okay. We have no one who wishes to speak to the commission. We will close the.
One last thing, I apologize to both the public and the board here. I looked up one of the Sidwell numbers on McLean Drive, and I think, I'm not sure, but on the computer, is there any representative of 110 McLean here?
Yeah.
On the computer, it shows that it's 106 instead of 110.
The address on the computer.
Okay,
It doesn't look like the right property.
all right, thank
It
you.
is 120.
All right, it is 110?
Yeah, it is 110. And I do want to actually, if I could.
Oh, shit, stand up.
Public hearing is still open. The rezoning request, I want to make sure we aren't requesting a rezoning of the property. The property's already zoned industrial.
Okay.
I just want to get that.
All right. Thank you for the clarification on the address, because
Thank you.
the one I was looking at, 110 puts you next to L&L Products.
Yeah, it's all the way
Yeah,
back.
okay, thanks.
You good?
Yes, you answered my question.
All right. Then we are going to close the public hearing, and we're going to go into our regular meeting at this time. Could we have a roll call, please?
Stegner? Grandstaff?
Here?
Fowler?
Yes.
Hall?
Here.
Smiles?
Here.
Foltz? Webb?
Here.
Care?
Yes.
And Stevens? Here.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, approval of the minutes of the last meeting from November 4th.
I'll make that motion to approve November 4th.
Second.
Okay. All right, can we have a vote on that, please?
Do you say all in favor?
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
you want an all in favor? All right.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, we will next go to unfinished business. This,
Actually, then we have public forum first. Public forum for this meeting.
didn't we complete?
Yeah, but that was for the public hearing.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, so we are going to have the public forum at this time. I'm ready for Steve.
You guys are making it easy. Okay.
And then that's to-
Huh?
if there's no one here.
Yeah.
Forum, that's
There's no one for the public forum. We will then have Steve Caston start with some of our unfinished business.
Before Mr. Casson speaks, can I say something? Mr. Casson, I do appreciate the information that you put out. Thank you. It was very thorough, and it gave us details on each individual sibling member. Thank you for that information.
Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the audience and the Planning Commission, these reviews of the applications were based solely upon your special land use application. I have not seen any copies of the marijuana applications, licensing applications. Your application for special land use, along with the submitted site plans you gave, is what I reviewed to determine compliance with the zoning ordinance in order to recommend approval of the special land use. I'm going to start with the first one, Mr. Chairman, if I may. This is on, this is 270136226016. It's a vacant lot on 33 Mile Road. The request is proposal to develop approximately a 12,340 square foot industrial building. The criteria for review, according to the zoning ordinance, says that the facility has to be located in the northeast part of the town, village, east of the M53 bypass and north of 32 Mile Road. That is in compliant with that. There's a provision that says it has to be 750 feet from any other, as measured from the property line, from any other use. That will be determined by the village council. I am not privy, nor do I believe anybody here is privy to the chronological submittal of the applications to determine where that baseline might be set to start determining who is 750 feet, who's first, who's second, who's third. So I'm recommending that when we come to that, part of the motion that be contingent upon the village council's approval. It says all marijuana establishments must be enclosed within the building. From the information I've received, that is correct on this one. Has to be a minimum of 500 feet from the school, a public or private K-12 school. I believe that is correct on this one. Compliance with all other provisions of the zoning ordinance. To my belief, the site plan as presented complies with all the zoning ordinance requirements, including setbacks and that. And then there has to comply, obviously, with the licensing ordinance of the marijuana provision license that the village has. Okay. So it meets the zoning ordinance, and the second part that needs to be met is the conditions of special land use approval. And as the commission is aware, there are typically 8 conditions spelled out in the Michigan State enabling legislation, zoning enabling legislation, for granting a special land use. You have them in front of you. I can read, so I don't have to do this on all 8 of them. I'll read them just for the first one so the public's aware of what these conditions are. The proposed special land use shall be of any such location, size, and character that will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the surrounding neighborhood and or vicinity and applicable regulations of the zoning district in which it is located. Number 2, the proposed use shall be of a nature that will make vehicular and pedestrian traffic no more hazardous than it is normal for the district involved, taking into consideration vehicular turning movements in relation to traffic flow, proximity and relationships to intersection, adequacy of site distances, location and access of off-street parking, and provisions for pedestrian traffic, with particular attention to minimizing child-vehicle interfacing. The proposed use shall be designed as to the location, size, intensity, site layout, periods of operation of such proposed use to eliminate any possible nuisance emanating therefrom, which might be noxious to the occupants of or nearby permitted uses, whether by reason of dust, noise, fumes, vibration, smoke, or light. 4, the proposed use shall be such that the proposed location and height of buildings or structures and location, nature and height of walls, fences, landscape will not interfere or discourage appropriate development to use of adjacent land or buildings, or affect their value. 5, the proposed use shall relate harmoniously with the physical and economic aspects of the adjacent land uses as regards to prevailing shopping habits, convenience of access by prospective patrons, continuity to development, and need for particular service or facilities within that specific area of the village. The proposed use, 6, the proposed use is necessary for the public convenience at the proposed location. The 7, the proposed use is designed, located, planned, and be operated that the public health, safety, and welfare will be protected. And the last one, the proposed use shall not be detrimental or injurious to the neighborhood within which it is to be located, nor shall such use operate as a deterrent to future land uses permitted within the zoning district, and it shall be in harmony with the general purpose of the intent of the ordinance. I find, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, that if the requirements of the Licensing Act are followed, then they won't receive occupancy unless they are, that they will meet the, that they meet, this request meets the, meets these standards. So I'm certifying to you or recommending to you that these standards are met. The last thing I want to say is action. If you decide to approve this request and determine that they are in compliance with these 8 standards, I recommend that the motion be contingent upon the applicant being granted a license by both the Village of Romeo and the State of Michigan. So you're not granting you're not approving, you're just approving contingent to. That's my report on this first one.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr., can I ask a question? Mr. Clark, should we approve each one of these individually?
Yes.
Should we go on record?
We are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are going to, okay. we can start with the first proposed land use as far as size, all of the information that Steve had presented to us. Is there any objections to any of that by the commission?
So we're gonna start on 33 Mile Road and work our way back, is that what you're saying? Okay.
These 8 conditions here.
Oh, all right.
All right, and the second one is proposed use, the nature will make vehicular and pedestrian traffic no more hazardous. Is there any objections or anything that the board would like to bring to our attention? Number 3, the proposed use shall be designated as to location, size, intensity. Again, everything Mr. Caston said. Any problems with anyone?
Mr. Chair, I have one question. The development on 33 Mile Road with the 2 lots, I see a site plan review, and I'm looking at, Mr. Caston did a great job of describing the distances between the buildings. And according to these things, there's a problem with every one, but the development, which hasn't started yet, but we know it's in progress, but there's also the one on McLean Drive, which they have the distance, they're within the 750 feet distance of corner to corner. Would that at one point be discussed by this board, or would it be handled by the council? I don't know, since their development hasn't started yet, and obviously we want them to do their thing, but the distance poses a problem right now. So
The distance is going to be handled directly by the council.
okay, so then at that time when, I'm looking over you guys because you look at it, and at that time when you're doing your development with your layout of the property, you could probably conform it some way to make sure that you're conforming with our 750 feet with the other people here on McLean Drive, so we can make it happen between you 2 people, or do we have to flip a coin and say first come, first served?
That's not legacy.
I understand. I'm throwing something out there saying there's.
I think that's a question for council. That was handled in the board.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but I know that once you do your blueprint of your setup of where the footprint's going to be, and I think we go from the building to the other building, the building to building.
Property line to property line.
Property line to property, so it doesn't
With all
matter.
due respect, yeah, I think that was clear, and I think you can refer to Mr. Clark as far as the application and the ordinance was clearly defined as far as the ordinance and the application, which is already complete. So any adjustments to that ordinance, again, I defer to Mr. Clark.
It's lot line to lot line, that's stated in your ordinance.
Okay.
And then, as Mr. Casson said, and I advise the commission to adhere to this, is, and it's very important, and Ms. Trapp said that similarly, what you're considering is the special land use application to apply the 8 standards in the Zoning Enabling Act, the 8, which are the same 8 standards you have in your ordinance, to apply those standards to each application. If those standards are met and you choose, you can grant the application, but the granting of the application does not grant anyone a marijuana business license. The special land use application was one of, as Ms. Trapp said, one of the elements of the marijuana business license application. And so if you choose to approve any one or all of these special land use applications, it will be contingent upon ultimately the applicant also being awarded a marijuana business license. And that's not guaranteed. This doesn't guarantee anything other than it satisfies, if awarded a special land use, it satisfies one of the elements in the marijuana business application. So you're not deciding who's going to get a license. I recommend that you apply the 8 standards to each application and make a decision.
Thank you.
Okay, we have been presented with the 8 standards that we must look at. Mr. Kasten has gone through each of them and has made his recommendation. Does anyone have any of these 8 that they are concerned about or would like to discuss?
I'll make a motion that we approve special land use for 270136-226-015.
Support.
She's writing.
You want the address for that too, or not?
Is it 14940?
Yes, it is.
33.
Mile, yes.
Mr. Chairman, would the motion maker consider adding to that motion, and I suggest for all of them, that it meets the criteria of special land use approval as noted in those 8 standards?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
please.
also that approval is contingent upon the applicant being granted a license. Village of Romeo.
Yes, please, thank you. Exactly what he said. Thank you, Mr. And I would like to say that goes for each one of the, ditto.
Is that, can I ask
All
a
right.
question?
Yes.
Which parcel number?
Parcel number 270136-226-016.
Okay, thank you.
Address 14940, 33 Mile.
All right.
All in favor?
Could we have an all in favor? We have a motion and a
And
second.
support.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Approved.
Mr. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going on the next one.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, Mr. Chair, that since Mr. Casson gave the readout for each one of the individual ones, can we just review the residual number and move it forward, or do you want to go over each individual one?
You should consider each application.
Yes,
Each
please.
application either stands or falls on its merits.
Okay.
You got someplace you need to be, right?
All right, number 2 is 270136-226-017. It's vacant parcel on 33 Mile Road. Again, I reviewed all the standards of the zoning ordinance. They are in compliance with the zoning ordinance. In the 8 different standards of the special land use, I find it in compliance, especially if they develop as specified by the licensing ordinance. Therefore, I'm recommending approval subject to the same conditions that I previously mentioned.
Can I ask why there's 2 addresses on the application for this?
It's a good question. It doesn't match exactly. It's the same, I don't know. Some of the legal descriptions or residual numbers that we have don't necessarily match the assessing records for some reason. There's a lot of confusion, but
Patrick might be able to.
The reason there's confusion, because about 2 years ago, Bruce Township, I was dealing with Cindy in the girls' main office, they had inadvertently taken 015 and 017 and flipped them. So the Schaefers at that time were getting taxed on, they were getting a vacant tax on a piece of property that had a building on it, and then they were getting taxed as a building on the other one. So I have an email train for all that stuff between Bruce Township and Romeo. It took a week and a half, 2 weeks after this was turned in to figure out what the correct addresses were and what they could agree to. That's why you'll see a couple different addresses in there, but it's It wasn't a clerical error on my part. But it is remedied now, so we have the correct addresses that we can give you guys at the board.
Okay, we need to at least look at the 8 items that we have how do I want to say that? We must review these items so that we can, in our minds, make sure they are meeting all of the specifications in our ordinance. Mr. Caston has read through the first one, and basically the second one is the same set. If you need for the whole batch to be read again, we would be happy to do that. I can ask the board if we have any issues with the first item. Does anyone?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Well, we've got to go through. We've got at least got to go through. I'm going to make you sit in the hall.
wasn't me
I'm
this
going to
time.
put you out in the hall.
He's texting me. Speed
That,
this
or
up.
I'm going to. Number 2, any issues from anyone on the board with this? Number 3. Four, 5. Hey, I'll put you out in the hall, buddy.
I can vote for that.
Item 6, 7, and 8, do we have any issues, anyone on the board with these items? Okay. All right. We will take a vote on accepting.
Motion by Nolan.
It's the
Did
same
we get a second?
contingency from Mr. Cassid. Should be conditioned upon the applicant being granted a license by the village and the state.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Smiles. Okay,
All right.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're up again.
Number 3 and 4, I need clarification for the property owner, the applicant. I believe are the same, 173 East Pond. Somebody hear from that? There's 2 different parcel numbers, but
Yeah, there's 2 parcel numbers, one's just
behind and back.
Yeah.
So,
Mostly small.
okay. So 3 and 4 is actually one application, all right?
All right.
Thank you for clarifying that. This is on 173 East Pond. They are proposing, asking for a license to occupy approximately a 15,000 square foot industrial building at that location. It is in the area that the village sees as marijuana area, that being the northeast quadrant of the village. Determination can't be made at this time whether it's within 750 feet. I believe it is probably within 750 feet of another application, but we can't determine who was first, who wasn't, who's going to get in there. That's up to the village council. The marijuana establishment's going to be in a closed building. All the other standards of the zoning ordinance are met. And then we go to the special land use requirements, 8 requirements. Again, it's the same recommendation. I believe it meets those, or will meet those requirements, and I'm recommending approval.
All right. Anyone, do we want to go through each item? All right, all those, we have item 1. Any issues from anyone on the board? Item 2. Item 3. Item 4. Five, 6, 7. And number 8. Do we have any issues with any of these items as it is in our ordinance and this applicant? All right. Could we have a motion that the application for special land use set forth by, before the Planning Commission for property at 173 East Pond, with the 2 numbers, whatever you'll fill in, I assume.
Yeah.
Make a motion that we approve the special land use for 2701-36-477-002. Address is 173 East Pond.
And that's in addition to 036-173 East Pond? So we're doing both of them?
Yeah, both of them.
Are we
those two
can we
together,
do
Mr.
both of
Casson?
those, Mark?
Those two are together.
Those you can do together.
Okay.
The applicant has said that it's the same address.
Okay.
So I believe that it's appropriate to consider those together. There are 2 separate parcels, but again, the applicant having stated that it's essentially the same address, you can do that or you can consider them separate. I just recommend against considering all of them in bulk. You
Oh,
can't do that.
no,
I recommend you
I'm,
not do that.
I am talking about these 2.
Right.
I'd like to add 2701-36-400-036, address 173 East Pond, to the first signal number.
Support.
All right, that is the motion. Who
Motion by Fowler, support by Fair.
care? Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're up.
We're now on old business item number 5, 2701-36-477-006, Gemelli Investments LLC. This is on 133 East Pond. They're looking to occupy an existing approximately 12,930 square foot industrial building at their location. It meets all the zoning ordinance requirements in regards to, like I had mentioned before, the quadrant of the township, completely enclosed in the building and those provisions. And then also, I believe, when it's completed, it will meet all the conditions of special land use. So I'm recommending approval.
All right. And we are going to go through our 8. Do I have any objections to item 1? Item 2? 3? 4? 5? 6, 7, 8. No one has any objection to any one of these 8 items. Could I have a motion?
Make a motion for special land use for 2701-36-477-006, address 133 East Pond.
All right.
Support by Webb.
Webb? All right.
With the conditions that Mr. Casson, okay, yes, thank you.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And item number 6, 270136477010 is a property ID, 143 East Pond Drive, FSG LLC is the applicant. The request is to occupy a portion or all of the 30,000 square foot building located at that location and use it for a marijuana facility. It meets the requirements I specified under the zoning ordinance, section 46-393, and I believe it meets the requirements of special land use, and are recommending approval.
All right. Why don't we go through the 8 items and make sure everyone is in agreement with this? Item 1, any problems? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. Yeah, I've got a motion.
I'll make a motion. Special land use for 270136477010, address 143 East Pond.
All right.
Second motion.
Second, okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Mr. Casson, you have, under new business, a land use request.
Yeah, just a brief comment. The reason these are under new business, because they were not on the agenda, obviously, last month. These are also the ones that we held the public hearing on prior to the beginning of the meeting.
Okay,
So if you're ready, I'll go to the first one there, which is actually item number 2 on the, under old new business on the planning commission's agenda. And that is for 15055 32 Mile Road. It's 270136225018. Patrick Vinkier, HYLA Companies. They're asking to occupy an existing industrial building located at that location at 15055 32 Mile Road. It's in the location as required under the zoning ordinance. It meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance standards, has to be completely enclosed within the building. And it also, in my opinion, meets the requirements of special land use. So I'm recommending approval.
all right. Shall we go through the 8? Do we have any objections to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Any objections to any of these items from the ordinance? All right.
What was the parcel number on this one? For the same address for the application you have, there's a different parcel number for the same address. Unless I'm looking at the wrong thing here.
It was 280401200015.
And on the application, it's a different number for that same site address.
We have it under 018, so.
Oh,
I think the
okay.
agenda's got the wrong parcel number
I
on
think
it.
the agenda does have the wrong one, I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
I'm sure Mr.
Okay.
Casson has it.
The
correct.
initial frontage sheet
Yeah.
is different.
Right.
That one, 270136.
It's okay. Make a motion to approve special land use for 280401200015. Is that the right signal number? with dealing with?
I believe
I don't
it's-
think so.
I believe it's 270136225018, which is on Mr. Cassin's.
Yes.
Okay, that's, let me strike that first one, then I'll go over here. Special land use for 270136225018.
Mhm.
Address 15055 Thursday Mile.
Correct.
I feel you speaking here. Guide me through this.
Support by Care.
The numbers start going together
I
after
know.
a while.
After 9, yeah, sorry.
That's okay, your mother.
Okay, and,
We
and,
have to vote.
I'm sorry.
We need to vote.
Yes. All right. We have no objections to 1 through 8 of the special land use ordinance. Any problems by anyone? I've got a motion
And support.
and a support. Can we do a vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
I'm sorry.
I'm rubbing off on you,
What's that?
that's all. I'm rubbing off on you.
I should have took that nap this afternoon. All right, all in favor, we had ayes. Anyone opposed? Okay. Motion accepted.
Number 3 under new business is 270136226010. It's at 110 McLean, and it's, the applicant is Farming Management LLC. They're wishing to occupy an existing industrial building at that location. They are meeting all the standards of the zoning ordinance and appear to meet all the standards of special land use. And as others, I'm recommending approval.
All right,
The 8.
we'll go through the 8 now. Number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No objections from anyone? All right. Could I get a motion?
Motion to approve parcel ending 010, 110 McLean.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
The fourth one, under new business, is 1483332 Mile Road, parcel ID 280401200024. The applicant is 1483332 Mile Road LLC. They're asking to occupy a portion of an existing building at that location. The property is zoned correctly. It's in the location which the village requires. It meets the conditions of the zoning ordinance and appears to meet all the conditions of special land use approval. And I am again recommending approval.
All right. We're going to go through those numbers again now. Any objections to item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. We've got a motion and a second. All right.
I'll make a motion, special land use for 2804 01200-024. Address 14833 32 Mile Road.
Second. Two or three of us.
Did you second that, Mr. Webb?
Beat you to it?
I
We
think
did give-
Mr. Webb beat you to it, Tom, sorry.
All right. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, that concludes all the special land use approvals. We do have one site plan review. This for a parcel on the south side of 33 Mile Road, west of Powell. Property ID 2701-36-226016. They're requesting an industrial building. This has, as it might be used someday as a marijuana facility. At this point, we're only reviewing it as a general tenant space in an industrial district. It is proposed by the applicant, Patrick Vinkier, HYLA Companies, and I've done a review on that in compliance with the zoning ordinance. They're desiring to construct a 12,540 square foot industrial building on 80.87 acres of land. In terms of dimensional requirements, your ordinance requires 25 foot front yard setback. They're proposing it to be 45 foot. The rear yard setback is required to be 30. They meet that by proposing a 50-foot rear yard setback. Side yard setbacks are 10 required and 10 proposed, and the height of the building, maximum height according to the zoning district is 40 feet, and they're less than 40 feet. The parking required for the building is 23 spaces. They're providing 39. Barrier-free parking, 2 are required. They're providing 2. Minimum lane width is 24 foot. Most of their lane widths appear to be 30 feet. Minimum parking space size is 9 by 18. Their spaces are a little bit bigger at 10 by 20. So it meets all those dimensional requirements. There is one condition that's not shown on the site plan, and it's up to the Planning Commission to determine the necessity. There is a provision in the zoning ordinance that says that there needs to be 1 street tree for every 30 feet of frontage. That has not been shown, so I'll leave that up to the Planning Commission, whether they're going to require that. Excuse me, there's one last condition that the ordinance also says, unless waived, or that the village may require a public sidewalk out in front of the property. I've noticed that there are no public sidewalks in that vicinity. So basically, I'm recommending approval of the site plan contingent upon the Planning Commission's determination of the public sidewalk and the landscaping.
All right. I think the issue of the sidewalk is my feeling, if there's none there to begin with at the other locations, it's not really an issue here. The other item was,
There's supposed to be a tree planted every 30 feet of frontage.
all right,
Mr. Chair, under any new construction, there should be, eventually, with the courthouse right across the street from there is foot traffic, and especially with the trail, the Orchard Trail on the back side of the property. People do tend to venture back and forth between 33 Mile Road and the trail, or venture down there. So I'd say any new construction should consist of a new sidewalk. It will be new construction. Obviously, it's not existing, because there's nothing there right now.
okay, you're talking about the trail is in the back
Yes.
of the property.
Correct. Which gets lots of foot traffic. I'm saying, once they get to Powell Road, people tend to, working people also use that to get back and forth to work. And they're fortunate enough, there's a couple of entries onto the trail through the businesses, which is good. I mean, I'm glad that some of the businesses took it upon themselves to make those pathways directly to the trail. But eventually, people will be out there on 33 Mile Road, especially if they gotta go to court and walk to court.
Okay, I don't do a lot of walking right now.
Okay.
You'll have to,
All right, I'm
have
just
to
expressing my
indulge
opinion.
me here. That trail, is that sidewalk or is that a dirt? What
The
is
trail-
this?
The trail is pavement, it's asphalt, the orchard trail, or the, what's it called? I think it's called-
Orchard Trail.
Orchard Trail, yeah, it's asphalt, which extends quite a ways.
Goes
Romeo,
all the way
Richmond.
down.
It crosses Powell Road.
Okay, all right.
Can
You
Patrick
take public
comment,
comments
the
now?
owner
He's
of,
the applicant, yeah.
I didn't hear.
can he,
The applicant wants to talk.
he
Oh.
would like to make a
The
comment?
trail you're referring to,
The Orchard Trail.
the Orchard Trail, it intersects Powell Road, a half mile south of the property where I'm at.
Correct.
I'm on 33 mile, quarter mile west. So the trail really doesn't come into play in that parcel right now. But if it pleases the board, at a time when they put sidewalks in somewhere out there, you know, I would hate to put a sidewalk in, now would have a sidewalk in nowhere and then have it dilapidated in 10 years. I'd be willing to do it any time. But we don't have, you know, to your point, we don't have foot traffic right now. People won't walk down Powell because of the traffic that you have there. And it would take a 10-minute walk to get to my property.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, yours is new construction. Yes, about Powell Road to 33, that is, but the businesses that have developed that easement off of the Orchard Trail, people do use that to get back and forth to L&L Products, to all those businesses over there, which is great. Like I said, I'm glad that some of the businesses over there took that upon themselves to do that. But we do have the courthouse across the street from where you are, plus a couple of the other businesses. And any new construction should consist of a new side, I mean, we required it on residential, new construction that put up a new sidewalk in front of your place. That's all I'm saying is, any new construction should consist of that access to it. I mean, it's up to these guys, but I'm just expressing my opinion.
All right. And the issue of trees,
I would like to see them there. Do you know how much frontage there is on these two parcels, Mr. Casson? Trying to do the math with my ruler.
How much frontage?
Yeah, what's the frontage?
Between the two parcels?
125 of parcel.
120, so
12
before
trees.
trees.
Mr. Chair,
If you'd like, I'd be happy to submit a landscape plan because I'm not gonna move middle four trees. It's gonna be
Right.
nicer than that. So if you want a landscape plan, I can have that done.
That'd be perfect.
Yes.
all right.
Mr. Chair,
No, put a sidewalk in.
I think if the applicant is willing to put trees in, and at the time when sidewalks get out there, that in the approval, he is willing to put sidewalks in then, that should be sufficient, because right now, I don't see a sidewalk on 33.
I agree.
All right. Any other comments from the board? All right, can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the site plan review that Mr. Casson has just presented, also with the landscaping that Mr. Bickman just said he will apply, and also what Mr. Smile said is, that once that happens, these foot traffic exists, so he'll probably be long gone, but that's okay.
That's all that's forever.
Hey,
Thanks for that.
thank goodness for this side of the dirt today.
you got support?
Support.
Support by Smiles.
That's mine, yes.
So can we clarify that? That was to approve it as Mr. Casson stated with a submitted landscape plan, and then he'd be willing to put in sidewalks at that time.
Mhm.
If it presented itself.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And I didn't have to read the 8.
Motion to adjourn?
Is that everything?
I think, yeah.
Wow. Well, all right, I got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second once.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.